My child. In the silence where you believe no one notices, a movement is unfolding from the realm of eternity, one that only a sensitive soul can perceive. It is a gentle stirring like the wind brushing over the surface of still waters, like the first breath of dawn awakening the petals of the fields. It is a sign that the heavenly realm is leaning closer to your life. For so long you have lived within the weary rhythm of responsibilities and worries, to the point that you have forgotten your soul was created to hear what lies beyond the boundaries of the earth. You were not born to endure endlessly. You were born to receive my voice. And today that moment opens before you like a door without a sound. You once believed the divine only arrives through dazzling moments or earth-shaking events. But my beloved, I often choose to enter your life through gentleness, because only when your mind becomes quiet can I whisper close enough for my words to seep into the driest places within you. You do not realize that every time you leaned against a wall to catch your breath, every time you felt the last thread of hope slipping away, I was already standing beside you. Not far, but very near, so near that if you tilted your heart just slightly, you would have sensed the warmth of my presence. I have watched you struggle to hold yourself together in seasons where no exit seemed possible. I know the moments when you smiled outwardly but ached inside, the moments you pressed your hand to your chest just to stay steady enough to make it through another day. I know because I was there, carrying the weight you did not know had become too heavy for you. You often wonder why the battles within you stretch on for so long. Today I want you to understand something deeply important. The opening you are about to step into is not something you must fight to obtain. It is something I am releasing to you. You do not need to struggle, force, or pretend to be strong. All you need to do is open your heart to receive. What I am doing is not based on your achievements, but on my love for you. I do not measure you by success or failures. I see you through the lens of my intention, and that intention has never changed. I remind you those I choose often walk longer nights than those who rely on their own strength. Not because they lack worth, but because what I place upon their lives requires roots far deeper than ordinary ground can hold. Like a great tree before a storm, its roots must reach deep before it can stand immovable in great winds. So it is with you. Every time you felt lost, you were in fact being realigned. Every time you felt abandoned, you were being drawn into a quiet space where my voice could reach you without interference. Your weakest moments have always been the moments I was strongest on your behalf. Not one tear of yours has fallen without measure. Not one groan of your heart has gone unanswered by my compassion. If you knew how carefully I have gathered your sighs, you would never think yourself forgotten. Through the recent season, you have walked a path no one truly understands. You could not name what was happening inside, nor could you explain it fully, because words were too small to contain the weight of what pressed upon your soul. Yet I have understood every layer, every room, every hidden fold within you, the parts you show and the parts you bury deeply. You have lived many days when one more burden could have broken you, yet, my beloved, I carried you through them all, not with spectacle but with quiet preservation. You could not see the battles I fought for you, but they were as real as your own heartbeat. You could not see the hand that blocked what sought to harm you, but without me, you would not be standing here today. You thought you had to be strong to endure, to hold everything together so no one would be disappointed. But I never required that of you. I only asked you to open your heart so that I could do what you could not. The wounds you carry are not failures to me. They are doors through which I may enter more deeply. Your weaknesses do not repel me. They draw me closer. If you knew me only in the sunshine, you would never understand the tenderness I reveal in rain. If you sought me only in ease, you would never witness the miracles that unfold when you think everything has reached its end. And my child, this is not the moment for you to shrink back in fear. This is the moment to stand still and know that I am drawing near in ways your heart and mind have never imagined. You have asked me countless times, Lord, when will what I'm waiting for come? And today I answer, it begins now. Not with noise or sudden grandeur, but like an underground spring rising quietly until it becomes strong enough to break through the soil and form a stream. That is what I am doing in your soul. The nights you endured were not your end. They were the dark canvas upon which my light will burn most brightly. Your weariness is not evidence of failure. It is a sign that you have traveled far enough to enter a new season. My silence was never rejection. It was the pause before the song began. Let my words be the wind that pushes open the doors you believed were rusted shut. I am coming not to revisit the past, but to write a new chapter with ink that cannot fade. You could not name what was happening inside, nor could you explain it fully, because words were too small to contain the weight of what pressed upon your soul. Yet I have understood every layer, every room, every hidden fold within you, the parts you show and the parts you bury deeply. You have lived many days when one more burden could have broken you, yet, my beloved, I carried you through them all, not with spectacle but with quiet preservation. You could not name what was happening inside, nor could you explain it fully, because words were too small to contain the weight of what pressed upon your soul. Yet I have understood every layer, every room, every hidden fold within you, the parts you show and the parts you bury deeply. You have lived many days when one more burden could have broken you, yet, my beloved, I carried you through them all, not with spectacle but with quiet preservation. I remind you those I choose often walk longer nights than those who rely on their own strength, not because they lack worth, but because what I place upon their lives requires roots far deeper than ordinary ground can hold. Like a great tree before a storm, its roots must reach deep before it can stand immovable in great winds. So it is with you. Every time you felt lost, you were in fact being realigned. You cannot see it with physical eyes, but your soul feels it, a subtle tremor. You cannot describe a sense that something is approaching, enveloping, touching the edge of your awareness. And I tell you, it is not imagination. Heaven is opening a new pathway. You have believed that great things require striving, pushing, stretching yourself beyond measure. But my kingdom moves differently. The deepest works begin in stillness. You walked through many long days believing you were wasting your life, but I was using each of those days to widen the inner vessel of your being, just as a potter presses his hands gently inside a forming jar, opening it wide enough to hold a blank, what it was destined to carry. I never prepare halfway. If I am preparing you long, it is because what I intend to give is never small. You do not know this, but my works often differ from what your eyes see. You think you are being delayed, but I am shielding you from what was never meant for you. You think you are being slowed, but I am keeping you in perfect rhythm. You think you have been pushed into an unexpected detour, but that detour is the very path that keeps you from cliffs you did not know existed. I see everything, even those things your mind could never guess. So do not measure your journey by speed or time. Measure it by, my presence and I have not left your side for even half a breath. You often expect my words to come through grand gatherings in thunderous displays or unmistakable signs. But sometimes my voice comes like the thin light of dawn, not blinding, not forceful, but slowly spreading, gently touching, gradually illuminating. You know the sun has risen, not because it suddenly bursts forth, but because darkness retreats little by little. And the same is true for my nearness, not because you hear trumpets, but because the heaviness in your heart begins to loosen. The stones in your mind begin to soften, and what once felt suffocating now carries a faint glimmer of light. Even a single sliver of light is enough to announce that morning is drawing near. My child, the current of the heavenly realm never ceases. Your inability to feel it does not mean it has stopped flowing. In moments when you are silent, I am still arranging. In seasons when you are exhausted, I am still protecting. During days when everything seems stagnant, I am laying foundations. If you saw from my vantage point, you would notice that every event, every choice, every time you were forced to begin again, all of it has been positioning you for the moment of alignment with what I ordained. You often blame yourself for not having enough faith, enough courage, enough endurance, but I have never demanded perfection from you. What I look for is willingness. When Abraham was called, he did not know where he was going, he only knew how to say yes. When Samuel heard the unfamiliar voice, he simply replied, "Speak, for your servant is listening." When Peter stepped out onto the water, he did not know if he could stand. He only knew his master was ahead of him. You do not need to know everything. You only need to open your heart. I will take care of the rest. I have watched your soul throughout these past months. I have seen a faint thread of hope flowing beneath the layers of despair. That hope could not be extinguished, even when you wanted to surrender. Do you know why? Because it is a spark I placed in you from the beginning, and what I plant no one can steal. Darkness may cover it, but it cannot kill it. That spark is the anchor between your soul and heaven. It is the cord that has kept you from being swept away. Because of it, you still sense that your life is not meant to be a cycle of repetition. You know you are being called into something deeper. My child, look at yourself through my eyes. You will see that the losses that once broke you were the very places where I planted new seeds. The moments you thought were your collapse were the moments my purpose began to restructure within you. The closed doors were not punishment. They were protection from places that would have wounded you further. And the roads you had to take the long way around were not due to weakness, but because I was guarding your process from forces that could have derailed your purpose later on. What you have been sensing lately, a pull and urging a new rhythm, is not imagination. It is my call touching the hope I placed in you from the start. I am awakening what has slept, summoning what you believed had died, gathering the scattered pieces to form a new design. Every moment you believed you were stagnant was the very moment I was fortifying the deepest parts of your being. You thought you were falling behind others, but I have done everything with intention. A vessel that is not yet sturdy cannot hold new oil. A foundation that has not fully dried cannot carry the weight of an upper floor. And a soul that has never walked through inner battles cannot sustain long-lasting peace. You closed it so you would not be hurt again, not realizing that what I desire to bring into your life often enters through the very door you have sealed out of fear. You have lived for so long in a posture of self-protection, not because you are weak, but because your heart has been ambushed too many times while unguarded. You learned to be cautious, reserved, and hesitant to open yourself fully, for every time you trusted, the outcome contradicted your expectation. Today, I want you to understand something deeply important. The opening you are about to step into is not something you must fight to obtain. It is something I am releasing to you. You do not need to struggle force or pretend to be strong. All you need to do is open your heart to receive. What I am doing is not based on your achievements, but on my love for you. I do not measure you by success or failures. I see you through the lens of my intention, and that intention has never changed. You see, what I am doing in your life does not begin with the outer doors, jobs, opportunities, relationships, finances. What I am doing begins within. If your soul is not healed, not expanded, not renewed, then even if every external door opens, you will not be able to sustain what arrives. That is why recently I have focused on rebuilding your inner world brick by brick, layer by layer, in places so delicate that only you and I know they exist. Every moment you believed you were stagnant was the very moment I was fortifying the deepest parts of your being. You thought you were falling behind others, but I have done everything with intention. A vessel that is not yet sturdy cannot hold new oil. A foundation that has not fully dried cannot carry the weight of an upper floor, and a soul that has never walked through inner battles cannot sustain long-lasting peace. And the roads you had to take the long way around were not due to weakness, but because I was guarding your process from forces that could have derailed your purpose later on. What you have been sensing lately, a pull and urging a new rhythm, is not imagination. It is my call touching the hope I placed in you from the start. I am awakening what has slept, summoning what you believed had died, gathering the scattered pieces to form a new design. So I allowed you to walk through days that felt like wandering, not to harm you, but to make you steadfast like gold refined through fire. Like a master refiner, I never take my eyes off your process. When gold is placed into the flame, the craftsman watches closely, not to scrutinize, but to ensure the gold is purified, not destroyed. If you understand this image, you will know why I have never abandoned you on nights filled with trials. Every moment you believed you were stagnant was the very moment I was fortifying the deepest parts of your being. You thought you were falling behind others, but I have done everything with intention. A vessel that is not yet sturdy cannot hold new oil. A foundation that has not fully dried cannot carry the weight of an upper floor. And a soul that has never walked through inner battles cannot sustain long-lasting peace. My child, none of your time has ever been wasted. Not a single tear has been overlooked. Not a single fragment of your story is unnecessary. Everything you have walked through is becoming the very material I am using to build the next chapter of your life. The years you thought were lost were actually the years I used to expand your capacity within. The pains that once seemed meaningless were pains that opened the way. It was not because you were weak, but because you were crossing a sacred threshold where darkness often attempts to pull back those who are about to step into the light. You feel tired not because you have lost direction, but because you are carrying the sign of transition. Like a stone resting at the bottom of a stream, still on the outside, but carried constantly by the water beneath, your soul has continued moving even when you could not feel it. You closed it so you would not be hurt again, not realizing that what I desire to bring into your life often enters through the very door you have sealed out of fear. You have lived for so long in a posture of self-protection, not because you are weak, but because your heart has been ambushed too many times while unguarded. You learned to be cautious, reserved, and hesitant to open yourself fully, for every time you trusted, the outcome contradicted your expectation. This is why you have felt a gentle stirring inside recently, as though something is calling you upward. It is not human impatience. It is the urging of heaven. You are entering a season in which everything I have sown quietly will begin to break through the soil. You will no longer walk by your own strength. You will walk by the strength I place within you. You will no longer have to hold yourself together. You will walk as one who knows they are covered on every side. The things that once made your heart tremble will lose their power. The words that once wounded you will fade. The fears that once chained you will dissolve like mist in the rising Sunday. Do you know why? Because the inner door has begun to open, and when it opens, no one can shut it. I do not merely want you to enter a new season. I want you to step into it with new confidence, not confidence in yourself, but confidence in me. I have always been there watching, guarding, intervening at the exact moment, so you would be refined without being consumed. Do you know how the refiner knows the gold is ready? When he sees his own reflection in it. And I tell you this, I see my reflection growing clearer within your spirit. You are closer than ever to what I intend to place in your hands. My child, there is a reason your heart once grew so heavy that you wanted to give up. I know there were days when you had no strength left to try. There were mornings when you awoke with a heart as heavy as stone, wondering how much longer you could keep going. I saw that. I lifted you even when you did not realize it. A single breath remaining in you is proof that my hand has been upholding you. A small glimmer of hope still flickering is evidence that my spirit has been breathing within you. You are still standing, not because of your strength, but because I have kept you. There are people who entered your life like a quiet breeze, then left like a season changing, and you never realized that their departure was part of my design to create space within your soul for what is coming. In the long days of waiting, you thought you were standing still in delay, but you were being held in the rhythm of heaven. I did not allow you to move too fast, lest you burn out, nor too slowly, lest you miss what I prepared. But my child, it is not because I am distant. It is because every storm is refining you, shaping you into someone capable of carrying the weight of the blessing assigned to your destiny. When Joseph was sold, when David hid in wilderness caves, when Moses wandered through desolate lands, each believed they were living forgotten days. But those were the very chapters I used to prepare the way for what was coming. But hear me, in the realm of heaven there is no competition, no scarcity, no rivalry. What belongs to you will come at its appointed time, not earlier lest it overwhelm you, and not later lest your hope wither. Your light cannot be dimmed by another's success, nor erased by the delays you once feared. You move by your own divine rhythm, and I call it the rhythm of destiny. I know your heart has grown tired of cycles, hoping, then hurting, opening, then wounding, stepping forward, then stumbling. You fear that if you try again, you will fall into the same darkness as before. But I tell you, what is coming is not like anything you have known. Not because you are stronger, but because this time I stand at the doorway with you. When I stand there, the past cannot repeat itself. When I shield you, old wounds cannot reappear. When I guard the path, what once harmed you loses its power. You are moving at the pace I ordained, even if your eyes cannot yet understand. The seasons you thought were losses were actually seasons of deep foundation work, because without preparation there can never be a harvest that lasts. I do not build the temporary. I build what can stand through time trials and storms you have not yet seen. You once feared that someone else might take the opportunity meant for you, that your blessing had passed you by, that you were late in comparison to others. My child, none of your time has ever been wasted. Not a single tear has been overlooked. Not a single fragment of your story is unnecessary. Everything you have walked through is becoming the very material I am using to build the next chapter of your life. The years you thought were lost were actually the years I used to expand your capacity within. The pains that once seemed meaningless were pains that opened the way. I know there were days when you had no strength left to try. There were mornings when you awoke with a heart as heavy as stone, wondering how much longer you could keep going. I saw that. I lifted you even when you did not realize it. A single breath remaining in you is proof that my hand has been upholding you. A small glimmer of hope still flickering is evidence that my spirit has been breathing within you. You are still standing, not because of your strength, but because I have kept you. You have sensed a subtle stirring inside you lately, as though your soul is being drawn towards something greater than you can name. That is not a fleeting emotion. It is a signal that heaven is preparing to shift seasons. Your spirit senses it before your life sees it, just as a seed senses spring before the ground grows warm. You do not need to understand everything to step forward. You only need to recognize that this stirring is my invitation into your next chapter. And you do not need to clutch everything tightly. You only need to open your hands so I may place the new into them. When I clear the way, no obstacle can stand. My child, rest your heart in this truth. You are no longer walking in a fog. You are walking in a path lit by the light of heaven. You have not been left behind, forgotten, or replaced. You are right on time, the time I wrote your name into from the very beginning. My child, none of your time has ever been wasted. Not a single tear has been overlooked. Not a single fragment of your story is unnecessary. Everything you have walked through is becoming the very material I am using to build the next chapter of your life. The years you thought were lost were actually the years I used to expand your capacity within. The pains that once seemed meaningless were pains that opened the way. I move even on days that feel uneventful, for true miracles are not always recognized by sight. Many are first felt through shifts in the soul before they appear outwardly. Have you wondered why you felt different lately? Not drastically different, but as if something subtle is rearranging inside you. Deeper breaths, a quiet peace, without an obvious reason, a sense that something significant waits beyond the fog. You are not beginning again. You are beginning right. My beloved, there are doors that do not exist on the outside but deep within the soul. They are not made of wood or metal but of decisions, beliefs, fears, memories, and courage. When a door inside the soul opens, the scenery of life shifts with it. And today I come to open that door with you, the very door you have kept shut for so long because of too many wounds, too many rejections, too many attempts that yielded nothing but exhaustion. My child, I see clearly your exhaustion from trying to understand what has not yet been revealed. You want to know when, how, and why the things you long for have not yet unfolded. But if I showed you the entire picture now, the magnitude of it would overwhelm you. There are seasons where I hide these things not to frustrate you, but to keep you steady, to prevent you from running ahead of time, to guard you from fearing the changes that are necessary. You fear that if you try again, you will fall into the same darkness as before. But I tell you, what is coming is not like anything you have known. Not because you are stronger, but because this time I stand at the doorway with you. When I stand there, the past cannot repeat itself. When I shield you, old wounds cannot reappear. When I guard the path, what once harmed you loses its power. You fear that if you try again, you will fall into the same darkness as before. But I tell you, what is coming is not like anything you have known. Not because you are stronger, but because this time I stand at the doorway with you. When I stand there, the past cannot repeat itself. When I shield you, old wounds cannot reappear. When I guard the path, what once harmed you loses its power. There were opportunities you thought slipped from your hands, but I withheld them so you would not fall into the wrong direction. There were relationships I pulled you away from, not because you were unworthy, but because your heart would have shattered if you had stayed in what no longer belonged to your season. And in areas that appeared barren, I have been planting new seeds, seeds that will bloom at the right time when the soil of your soul is ready. My beloved, before you even realized it, heaven's intervention had already begun in the deepest layers of your life, quiet but never weak, steady but never late. On days when you felt trapped in tiring routines, I was shifting things you could not see. In moments when everything seemed silent, the heavens were stirring on your behalf. Just as underground rivers flow, even when the earth above looks dry, my work for you has continued in every moment you were unaware. The detour is the protected route where I place pauses to recalibrate your soul so you do not enter the new carrying old fears, old disappointments, or patterns that once broke you so deeply you thought you would never recover. My child, I am shifting the environment around you in ways you do not yet perceive. Words that once disturbed your heart no longer have the power to move your emotions. Memories that used to haunt you are fading. Situations that once left you tangled now feel lighter. My child, I see clearly your exhaustion from trying to understand what has not yet been revealed. You want to know when, how, and why the things you long for have not yet unfolded. But if I showed you the entire picture now, the magnitude of it would overwhelm you. There are seasons where I hide these things not to frustrate you, but to keep you steady, to prevent you from running ahead of time, to guard you from fearing the changes that are necessary. The spiritual atmosphere surrounding you has begun to rise, and your mind is aligning with the frequency of peace. This is not temporary comfort. It is my deep intervention, like the unseen hands behind a stage drawing the chords, arranging every detail, so the platform is ready for the main act. I do not bring you onto the stage while the wings are still in disarray. I clear everything so that when I present you, you step into the light without trembling from wounded memories. All of these are signs that I am drawing nearer, not from afar, but from the very center of your life, where all you must do is open your heart to feel me. Child, my intervention begins in places you least expect. Not on the mountaintops, not among the crowds, but in the ordinary mornings when you wash your face in the quiet nights, when you turn from side to side, in the moments you stare into the mirror, asking how much strength you have left. It is in those unnoticed spaces that I place my hand upon your shoulder so gently you might think it is your imagination. Yet it is the truest reality you will ever know. You do not see me, but you are being led. You do not hear me with your ears, but your soul hears me in the vibration of my peace. You do not see the door open yet. You will walk through it because I have already done the work before your hand ever touches the handle. So, my child, let your heart rest. Let your breath soften. The detour is the protected route where I place pauses to recalibrate your soul so you do not enter the new carrying old fears, old disappointments or patterns that once broke you so deeply you thought you would never recover. My child, I am shifting the environment around you in ways you do not yet perceive. Words that once disturbed your heart no longer have the power to move your emotions. Memories that used to haunt you are fading. Situations that once left you tangled now feel lighter. My child, as you learn to walk in the stillness I've placed within you, spiritual doors begin to shift according to the rhythm of heaven, not with dramatic noise, but with a soft, subtle opening, like the first light of dawn slipping through the public curtain. You don't know when it began, but suddenly, the whole room has changed. There are doors in the heavens that do not open through human striving. They open when your heart aligns with my will. And in this moment, the two are harmonizing in a way you have never experienced before. You think you're taking small steps, but you are actually standing in the midst of a movement greater than you, one I initiated long before you could give language to your longings. For years you felt as though you were standing outside goodness, watching blessings fall on others while you remained at the edge. But you did not know that some blessings are withheld, not as punishment, but as protection, waiting for the exact hour when your soul is wide enough, deep enough, strong enough to carry them. The doors did not open before because you were not ready to walk through them. Today, because something inside you has changed, the door is beginning to glow with the first thin line of light. You feared you were too broken, too scarred, too worn to receive what is new. Just as a father does not show a child the entire journey at once, but leads step by step, I am leading you with intentional tenderness. Have you noticed that the things that once troubled you seem to be losing their power? Your mind is becoming clearer, your heart more at peace, and the anxieties that once stole your sleep no longer dominate you. That is because I am removing stones from your chest, loosening ropes from your hands, and clearing mist from your eyes. When spiritual doors open, you feel it not through eyesight, but through the rhythm of your inner being. You will notice peace in places, once filled with fear, strength, where you used to falter, clarity, where confusion used to reign. I do not open doors with a blinding flash. I open them by transforming your inner landscape so that when you step through, you step with confidence, not trembling, not unsure. That is why I work inside you before revealing what is outside. If your heart is not aligned, you will not recognize the true door. Have you noticed the negative expectations that once weighed you down are losing their grip? The memories that made you afraid of repeating old patterns are dissolving. The anxieties that once cornered you are melting like frost in early spring. These are the first signs that the spiritual door is opening, because when I open a door, I do not only clear the path, I clear your sight. When you are no longer entangled in old struggles, you begin to discern my voice, my direction, and the path that has carried your name since the beginning. My beloved, What I am preparing for you goes far beyond what you have asked for. You asked for a way out. I am creating a beginning. You hoped for a quiet season. I am restructuring the architecture of your life. You prayed for lighter burdens. I am leading you into a realm of completeness you have never known. What I am placing in your life is not merely to meet needs, it is to reveal who I am, the God of abundance, not scarcity. The God who opens paths, not patches holes. The God who builds, not temporarily repairs. At this moment I am gathering all the fragments of your life, the emotional pieces, the broken moments, the hidden disappointments, the unseen efforts, and arranging them like a master artisan assembling stained glass. Up close, it looked chaotic, but when you step back you will see the design radiant with the very light I intended for you. You thought an open door meant instant change, but when a spiritual door opens, it means you are entering the realm where heaven begins to handle the things beyond your reach. Conversations turn in directions you could not orchestrate. Closed doors open, as if they were never locked. People who forgot you remember you effortlessly. Opportunities that once were distant begin moving toward you. Everything begins falling into place, not because of your striving, but because of my orchestration. You are not moving toward the blessing is moving toward you. You are not pulling it by force, I am bringing it to you. You do not need to protect it, I am surrounding it. You do not need to fight for it, I am guarding everything I give. Feel this with your own breath, you are no longer at the edges. You are stepping into the very center of my intention. You are no longer outside the door. You are standing on the threshold of what I promised. You are no longer waiting from afar. You are touching the unveiling I have arranged, layer by layer, moment by moment. My child, when spiritual doors open and the heavens tilt in your direction, a new reality begins, forming around you not through sudden chaos, but through the deep, steady transformation of tides. I am bringing you into the land of the chosen, not the crowd, not the fearful, not the hesitant, but those whom I have led through darkness, solitude, and seasons they themselves could not comprehend. You have walked roads no one else truly saw, but I have recorded every step, every breath, every quiet tear. And now I say this, because you walked those roads, you are refined enough to stand in this light without trembling. Child, what I am doing in your life right now is not a minor adjustment, but a divine transfer, a shift in position, an elevation, a reordering that only souls who have endured with perseverance can fully understand. Your pain was never pointless. The years of being misunderstood, overlooked, underestimated, and pushed aside were not failures, but seasons. I used to hide you away from eyes unworthy of what you carry. Many times you thought you were forgotten, but in truth you were hidden. I hid you not because you lacked value, but because you were too precious. A gem is never left on the open road. It is buried until its form is ready. And so it has been for you. I concealed you, so that no one could touch what I was shaping. I do not bring you into the light until the darkness inside has been healed. I do not lead you to high places until your feet are strong enough to stand without collapsing. I do not give you blessing until your heart is soft enough to hold it in humility rather than pride. And now, my child, everything within you has reached the maturity I have waited for. You have learned to feel pain without bitterness, to be silent without despair, to wait without losing faith. This is why today you are being led into the chosen place. You will see the first signs of this place, not through dramatic events, but through a gentle clarity rising within your mind. Things that were tangled suddenly become clear. Questions that tormented you suddenly receive direction. Choices that once frightened you now feel light. You think this is personal growth, but in truth it is your soul aligning with my ways. When you step into the chosen place, your mind begins to see through. My eyes no longer clouded by old fears or the limiting voices of your past. My beloved, When a person steps into the space I set apart for them, the first change is not in their circumstances, but in how they perceive my presence. You will feel me nearer not because I have moved, but because your spirit has expanded to sense me deeper. You will hear my voice more clearly, not because I speak louder, but because your heart has learned how to be quiet. You will be at peace in situations that once shattered you, not because life is gentler, but because you have been lifted to a higher place where the storm cannot reach. In this place, you will begin to notice things that look like coincidences, but are actually the careful orchestration of heaven, conversations happening at the exact right time, words arriving on the exact right day, doors opening at the exact right moment, events aligning in ways that you will only understand in hindsight, could never have been random. I arrange these things not to impress you, but to remind you that you are no longer walking alone. In this place, you will begin to notice things that look like coincidences, but are actually the careful orchestration of heaven, conversations happening at the exact right time, words arriving on the exact right day, doors opening at the exact right moment, events aligning in ways that you will only understand in hindsight, could never have been random. I arrange these things not to impress you, but to remind you that you are no longer walking alone. I am freeing you from things you thought were part of your identity but were only remnants of old wounds. When I heal, I do not touch the surface. I go into the roots where the pain first took shape, and I gently untangle every knot like a jeweler, restoring a broken chain link by link. My child, I want you to know, I have been altering circumstances before you ever noticed. There were moments when new harm was approaching you, and I placed someone in your path at the exact moment to shield you. As you enter this place, you will notice you are no longer trembling like before. Your heart feels strengthened in a way you cannot explain. You look at the future no longer with hesitation, but with a restored confidence. The chosen place is not a reward, it is a role. I am not bringing you into it so you can merely enjoy blessings, but so you can become light. I am not elevating you for pride, but so you can carry comfort to others. These are the first signs that the spiritual door is opening, because when I open a door, I do not only clear the path, I clear your sight. When you are no longer entangled in old struggles, you begin to discern my voice, my direction, and the path that has carried your name since the beginning. My beloved, what I am preparing for you goes far beyond what you have asked for. You ask for a way out. I am creating a beginning. Do not fear this new role. You were born to stand in it. Do not doubt your sufficiency. I have prepared you through every season. Do not fear that your past will hinder you. I have sealed the chapter of what once was. Do not worry that you cannot fulfill what is ahead. I will go before you and orchestrate each step. All you need is to keep your heart soft, your ears attentive, and your feet in the light I set before you. My beloved child, when you have stepped into the chosen place, the journey does not end at the threshold. It is here that I begin to position you in your true place within the design I wove for you from the beginning. This is not a place to merely observe change. It is a place where you are established, where each step carries spiritual weight, and each word you speak has the power to shift the atmosphere. I have waited long for this day, the day your heart became soft enough, your mind wide enough, and your spirit bright enough to receive what once would have frightened you or sent you running. Today you do not tremble because I have worked with you silently for years, and it is that silent work that has become the foundation of this radiant season. My child, when I establish you, I do not rely on the outward measures by which people often determine worth. You are not moving toward the blessing is moving toward you. You are not pulling it by force. I am bringing it to you. You do not need to protect it. I am surrounding it. You do not need to fight for it. I am guarding everything I give. Feel this with your own breath. You are no longer at the edges. You are stepping into the very center of my intention. You are no longer outside the door. You are standing on the threshold of what I promised. A soul that has never been refined cannot carry a calling, but you have endured fire pressure and the blows of life while keeping your heart soft. That is why I trust you with more. The light within you is no longer only for your own path, but for the places you will enter. You will notice the way others look at you change, not because you seek praise or stand in pride, but because I am allowing them to see what I have planted within you. I do not look at status credentials or the praise of others. I look at the depth you have built in silence. I look at the times you chose kindness when you were hurt, the times you stayed quiet instead of reacting, the times you stood up again, even when no one knew how hard you had fallen. These things are not meaningless. They form the spiritual weight within you. When I place heaven's mark on someone, those around them can sense it even if they cannot name it. You will see doors open without you knocking, encounters unfold without you arranging them, and positions open to you that people once never considered your place. This is not because you became impressed, but because my will has reached its appointed time. My beloved, I know you have grown accustomed to standing on the sidelines. You do not need to grasp for position. What I give cannot be taken by anyone. When I position you in your calling, I also give you a new sensitivity, an ability to perceive what others overlook. You will sense danger before it approaches, know what to do before opportunities slip away, and hear my voice, even when the world around you is loud. This is not because you suddenly became exceptional, but because you are now operating in the frequency of heaven. And when your soul aligns with my rhythm, my guidance is no longer scattered signals. It becomes a steady flow, gentle but powerful like breath. In this season, you will understand something profound. I did not bring you into the chosen place simply to receive. I brought you so you may become a vessel of transformation. You will speak words that lift weary hearts. Wherever you stand, the atmosphere will shift. You will touch souls I have prepared for your presence. When I place heaven's mark on someone, those around them can sense it even if they cannot name it. You will see doors open without you knocking, encounters unfold without you arranging them, and positions open to you that people once never considered your place. This is not because you became impressed, but because my will has reached its appointed time. My beloved, I know you have grown accustomed to standing on the sidelines. Do not fear when you find yourself in new spaces around unfamiliar faces or stepping into roles you never imagined. All of this is part of my divine order. As I position you, I am also removing from your life what no longer matches your new stature. You will drift away from relationships you once tried to keep. You will feel out of place in environments you once believed were safe. You will grow uncomfortable in the small boundaries you once squeezed yourself into. This is not a burden, it is a mission. You were not chosen to be crushed by weight, but to reflect the life I placed within you. There will be places I send you, not because you desire them, but because they need the light you carry. There will be people I place beside you, not because they are easy to love, but because they are wounded and need the peace you bear. There will be situations you face not to test you, but to reveal that you are now mature enough to handle them with wisdom from above. And when your soul aligns with my rhythm, my guidance is no longer scattered signals. It becomes a steady flow, gentle but powerful like breath. In this season, you will understand something profound. I did not bring you into the chosen place simply to receive. I brought you so you may become a vessel of transformation. You will speak words that lift weary hearts. Wherever you stand, the atmosphere will shift. You will touch souls I have prepared for your presence. You are no longer fighting in your own strength. You are fighting in the authority I give. People may assume you are calm because you are strong, but in truth, you are at peace because you are covered. And know this as an unshakable decree: you are not being positioned temporarily, you are being positioned securely. What I place you into is not a fleeting opportunity. It is a portion with your name written in my eternal design. No one can remove you from where I set you. My beloved child, now that I have brought you into the chosen place and set you in my appointed position, this is the time for you to learn how to operate in the power I planted within your soul before you knew how to name your own dreams. This is the stage where you no longer simply stand and receive, but walk and carry out. This is not a burden, it is a mission. You were not chosen to be crushed by weight, but to reflect the life I placed within you. There will be places I send you, not because you desire them, but because they need the light you carry. There will be people I place beside you, not because they are easy to love, but because they are wounded and need the peace you bear. There will be situations you face, not to test you, but to reveal that you are now mature enough to handle them with wisdom from above. When I give power, I do not give it as the world gives, with conditions, pressure, or limits. I give it like a river, unceasing, ever flowing, as long as your heart remains aligned with the source. This is a power not built on momentary emotion, but on a steadfast bond between your soul and the breath I release over each moment. You will find that as you walk in your true assignment, the things that once frightened you lose their weight. The situations that once confused you become clear. The things you once thought you could never do become as natural as wind, because you are no longer doing them by your own strength. When I walk with you, you will understand that spiritual power is not the result of effort. It is the reflection of surrender. My child, you do not need to be perfect to operate in your calling. You only need to be faithful. People judge faces, words, achievements, but I watch each moment you choose the side of light, each moment you choose love while hurting, each moment you choose silence over retaliation, each moment you protect your heart instead of letting bitterness take root. These choices have refined your soul until it is capable of carrying the weight of grace I entrust to you. Not everyone can bear spiritual weight, but you have been prepared for it. The power I give is not the loud, showy strength the world admires. It does not boast, does not demand attention, does not parade itself. Spiritual power operates in stillness, in the gentle nod you give when you know you are in the right place, in the peaceful gaze you hold when others are anxious, in the quiet tone that yet shifts something deep in another's soul. Spiritual power is not meant to thrust you into the spotlight. It is meant to make you an instrument of heaven in the lives of those I send your way. Some words you speak may not earn applause, but they may help a broken heart rise again. Some simple gestures may go unnoticed, but they may rekindle hope in someone whose flame was fading. That is the power I give. Spiritual power is not meant to thrust you into the spotlight. It is meant to make you an instrument of heaven in the lives of those I send your way. Some words you speak may not earn applause, but they may help a broken heart rise again. Some simple gestures may go unnoticed, but they may rekindle hope in someone whose flame was fading. That is the power I give. When I am with you, you do not need to prove anything. My presence within you is enough to break the burdens others carry. I know there are moments when fear still rises in you, fear that you might not sustain what I give, fear that you are too small for a great calling, fear that you will fail before you begin. But I speak firmly, fear is not evidence of weakness. It is the sign that you are stepping into something bigger than yourself. And know this, I never call anyone to do what I do, not also empower them to accomplish. When I choose you, I equip you. You do not rely on yourself, you rely on me. As it has been written, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit. This alone ensures that you will not fall when I lift you up. I will also teach you to discern what comes from me and what does not. Discernment is an essential part of power. You will sense what is right before you can explain it, for I will whisper in your heart in ways no one else can hear. You will know when to move forward and when to pause, when to remain silent, and when to speak with boldness. This is not instinct. This is the leading of the Spirit. A mission is not about running fast, it is about stepping correctly. And when your steps are aligned with mine, nothing can stop what I am doing through your life. When I am with you, you do not need to prove anything. My presence within you is enough to break the burdens others carry. I know there are moments when fear still rises in you, fear that you might not sustain what I give, fear that you are too small for a great calling, fear that you will fail before you begin. But I speak firmly, fear is not evidence of weakness. It is the sign that you are stepping into something bigger than yourself. As you operate in the mission, blessings will not flow to you alone, they will flow through you. You will be a conduit, a channel, a living stream. I did not set you in the chosen place so you could keep blessings for yourself. I placed you there so heaven's favor could move through you to many. You will see families healed, relationships, restored, work strengthened, and doors opened, not only because you pray, but because you are present. My beloved, there will be days you are tested, moments you are misunderstood, situations where you feel completely alone, but you are not alone. I will stand beside you in every confrontation. I will uphold you in every weakness. I will shield you when invisible arrows aim at you. I did not bring you into the mission for you to protect yourself. I brought you so that I may protect you. You need only stand in the truth, and I will take care of the rest. And when you have learned to walk in your mission, to operate in the light I have placed within your soul, you will enter a completely new season, a season where everything that was quietly prepared in the shadows begins to rise to the surface of your life in a way that will astonish you. This is the season of revealing, the moment when I make the spiritual realities you carried within you for so long visible in the world you live in. Remember this unwavering truth: light never loses to darkness. It only needs you to stand in the right place without retreat, without fear, without shaking at what you see. To stand firm in the light, the first thing you must learn is to keep your heart anchored in the stillness I give. Your radiance does not come from trying to be seen. It comes from keeping your heart rooted in me, letting me be your only source of strength. I have waited long for this day, the day your heart became soft enough, your mind wide enough, and your spirit bright enough to receive what once would have frightened you or sent you running. Today you do not tremble because I have worked with you silently for years, and it is that silent work that has become the foundation of this radiant season. My child, when I establish you, I do not rely on the outward measures by which people often determine worth. All of these became the foundation upon which I can construct something great, something no force on earth can shake. A structure meant to endure is not built on soft ground. It is built on soil that has been pressed, cracked, and shaken. And your soul, my child, is exactly where I have prepared such a foundation. Now is the time for me to build something new with everything you thought had exhausted you. My beloved, in this season, you will begin to notice that my revealing does not come with loud noise, but with movements that are subtle, yet weighty. Those who once overlooked you will begin to notice a change within you they cannot explain. The spaces that once rejected you will open without you knocking. Opportunities once far beyond reach will come toward you as if guided by an unseen hand. This is not luck, this is revelation. My beloved, in this season, you will begin to notice that my revealing does not come with loud noise, but with movements that are subtle, yet weighty. Those who once overlooked you will begin to notice a change within you they cannot explain. The spaces that once rejected you will open without you knocking. Opportunities once far beyond reach will come toward you as if guided by an unseen hand. This is not luck, this is revelation. They will not understand that it was my hand that held you when you thought you had no breath left. You do not need to explain. I will explain through the fruit you bear. The season of revealing is also when I bring delayed things into alignment. You once believed certain prayers were forgotten, but they were never lost. They were held back until the moment you were strong enough to receive the blessing without losing yourself. Some prayers I answer instantly, others I answer later. Others I answer differently than you asked, but every answer is on time. Today I tell you the season of revealing is the season when prayers sown in tears become harvests gathered in joy. What you thought had died will live again. What you thought was closed will open. What you feared might never come will stand before you. I will not only reveal what you have waited for, I will reveal you. You were hidden not because people wished to hide you, but because I wanted to protect you. Precious stones are not placed under dim light, for dim light diminishes their beauty. They must be placed under light strong enough to reveal their full brilliance. So, it has been with you. I hid you in a season so you would not be stolen, exploited, or buried beneath false expectations. Now my light is strong enough to shine on you without harming you. The season of revealing is when I bring you out of the shadows of years of misunderstanding, not so you may prove anything, but so you may stand fully in the truth of who you are. When the season of revealing begins, you do not need to rush. Everything moves according to the rhythm I set, never too fast, never too slow, never lacking, never excessive. You need only take each step with awareness, receiving each change with gratitude, knowing that everything unfolding is under my guidance. Not every spotlight is meant for you, but every light I shine upon you is perfect. Let me illuminate. You need only stand where I place you. I will bring the right people into this new season of your journey. Some will come to strengthen you, some to expand you, some to build with you what I desire to accomplish through your life. The right ones will recognize you, not by your words, but by my light upon you. Haste is the enemy of wisdom. Impatience is the opposite of divine guidance. You do not need to open every door. You need only open the door I point to. The right choice is not the most appealing. It is the one that carries my peace. The third thing you must know to stand firm in the light is to keep your eyes fixed on the purpose I have given you. When you know what you were born for, your heart will not be swayed by attention or the turbulence around you. When you see my faithfulness in every step, you will no longer doubt when facing trials. You will no longer fear when standing before what is larger than you. You will no longer hesitate when I call you further. For you will know I have never left you, and I am not about to start now. You are stepping into a season of revealing that nothing can stop. No word spoken against you can bury you. No opposition can push you back. No delay can break what I have begun. What I open, no one can shut. You were hidden not because people wished to hide you, but because I wanted to protect you. Precious stones are not placed under dim light, for dim light diminishes their beauty. They must be placed under light strong enough to reveal their full brilliance. So, it has been with you. I hid you in a season so you would not be stolen, exploited, or buried beneath false expectations. Now my light is strong enough to shine on you without harming you. What I unveil, no one can conceal. What I place within you, no force can take away. My beloved child, this is also the moment when I teach you how to stand firm in the expanding light without being swept away by the haste of people or the noise around you. Spiritual light does not only reveal blessing, it also exposes responsibility. It reveals not only transformation, but the depths of the human heart and the things you must discern with sensitivity. Some people will welcome you with sincerity, but others will misunderstand you and craft stories of their own. Some hands will want to lift you up, but others may attempt to use you or pull you down. Do not be surprised and do not be discouraged, for light always creates movement. Where there is light, shadows appear. But shadows have no authority over you. They merely reveal that you are standing where the light is strong enough to expose everything. Remember this unwavering truth: light never loses to darkness. It only needs you to stand in the right place without retreat, without fear, without shaking at what you see. To stand firm in the light, the first thing you must learn is to keep your heart anchored in the stillness I give. Your radiance does not come from trying to be seen. It comes from keeping your heart rooted in me, letting me be your only source of strength. If my light ever becomes louder than my voice to you, you will lose your way. But if my voice guides you through my light, you will never lose yourself. The light I give is not for making you the center. It is for making you a humble instrument, fully aware that you shine only when placed in the hands of the master artisan. In this season, you do not need to explain yourself to anyone. You do not need to chase after every whisper. You do not need to correct every misunderstanding spoken about you. The glory I pour out will speak on its own. The transformation within you will testify for itself. Your growth will reveal what needs to be seen. You are not called to argue. You are called to stand firm. Those who need to understand will have their eyes opened at the appointed time, and those who are not meant for this journey will step away naturally. You do not need to cling to what I am loosening, nor pursue what I did not send, my beloved. The second thing I want you to remember is this: when the light expands, you must learn to guard the borders of your inner world. Not everyone is meant to enter deeply into your life. Not every conversation deserves your attention. Not every opportunity comes from me. In the season of revealing, things that do not belong often appear in beautiful forms, not because they are good, but because your light draws attention. That is why you must bow before me whenever you stand at the edge of a major decision. You must ask me before you step and wait for my answer before you act. Haste is the enemy of wisdom. Impatience is the opposite of divine guidance. You do not need to open every door. You need only open the door I point to. The right choice is not the most appealing. It is the one that carries my peace. The third thing you must know to stand firm in the light is to keep your eyes fixed on the purpose I have given you. When you know what you were born for, your heart will not be swayed by attention or the turbulence around you. Purpose gives you direction. Calling gives you motivation. My love gives you endurance. When you stand on purpose, small things cannot pull you down. When you know why you are here, you do not waste strength on what is not yours. When you anchor your heart in me, you will have the strength to say no to what looks beautiful yet carries no life. In the season of revealing, no is as important as yes. Light does not only create opportunity, it creates responsibility. Not everyone is meant to enter deeply into your life. Not every conversation deserves your attention. Not every opportunity comes from me. In the season of revealing, things that do not belong often appear in beautiful forms, not because they are good, but because your light draws attention. That is why you must bow before me whenever you stand at the edge of a major decision. You must ask me before you step and wait for my answer before you act. You were not chosen to stand on a pedestal and receive applause. You were chosen to walk into the world with a strong heart, able to love, to understand, and to bring peace into places trembling. There will be moments when you feel tired under the light shining on you. Light makes it harder to hide in familiar corners. Light forces you to face what you once avoided. Light makes you more visible than before. But I declare this over you: you do not stand in the light alone. My shadow covers you. When I shine on you, I expect you to carry that light into places still dark. This means I will lead you to souls needing healing, to spaces needing comfort, to situations requiring the courage of someone who knows how to stand in truth. Do not see this as a burden. See it as evidence that you are ready. I do not send the unformed into battle. I send those who have been forged. You need only be honest with your soul and allow me to lead you deeper into truth. Light does not make you different. It makes you authentic. And authenticity is always beautiful, always strong, always free. When you live true to who you are in me, no one can shake you. Now you enter the season in which I expand the territory of your influence, a time when I stretch the borders of your life according to the laws of heaven, not the expectations or limitations of people. In this season, you do not need to explain yourself to anyone. You do not need to chase after every whisper. You do not need to correct every misunderstanding spoken about you. The glory I pour out will speak on its own. The transformation within you will testify for itself. Your growth will reveal what needs to be seen. You are not called to argue. You are called to stand firm. And those who no longer belong will drift away not through conflict but through difference in spiritual altitude. The season of revealing separates the old from the new. What does not belong will fall away like dried leaves, while what belongs will stand firm like deep roots in the soil. The most important part of the season of revealing is not others seeing you. It is you seeing me more clearly. Everything I reveal in your life is not meant to showcase you, but to draw you closer to me. The power I place upon you causes those who enter your orbit to sense that you carry something not of this earth. You do not need to try to influence. Influence flows naturally when your heart is properly aligned in me. My beloved, this expansion is not an increase in the number of people who see you, but in the quality of the people I allow you to meet. This expansion does not arise from ambition, but from my presence resting upon you, not from strategy or calculation, but from the fruit of a life shaped by faithfulness, endurance, and a spirit that sought me even when no one saw. When a soul is refined deeply enough, I bring that soul into a wider sphere so that the light within becomes shelter for others, and this is what I am doing to you today. Know this, every connection in this season carries meaning. Listen to me so you may discern who is sent and who is simply passing through. Expansion of influence also means you will step into spaces you never imagined standing in. But remember this, you are not there because you are talented enough. You are there because I brought you. Just as Joseph entered the palace not by power but by my plan, you too will enter places you cannot humanly explain. And just as Daniel stood in Babylon's court not through self-made wisdom but through the insight I poured into him, you will carry understanding beyond your years and experience when you step into new spheres. You will speak less, yet your words will carry weight. You will do simple things, yet they will bear great impact. You will move gently, yet your presence will shift atmospheres in ways no one can explain. This is my power working through you. In this expansion, you will not walk with old steps. You will move with peace, not haste, with discernment, not impulse, with my guidance, not pressure to prove anything. You no longer need to chase opportunity. Opportunity will come to you. You do not need to fight to keep your position. Your position is secured in my hand. You do not need to fear being replaced. What I assign to you cannot be taken. Expansion does not mean you stretch yourself by human strength. It means I pull your life beyond the tight places of past seasons and set you in spaces that are wider, brighter, and safer. When the sphere of your influence expands, your responsibility grows as well, yet not in a way that makes you tremble, but in a way that matures you. You will find yourself becoming an anchor for others. You will notice that your counsel carries healing. You will see that your presence brings peace to those around you. These things are not given so you may feel pride, but so you may understand that the mission you carry is not for you alone. It is for those I am bringing into your orbit. Remember that the way you live, the way you respond, the way you love, the way you forgive, the way you walk, all of these become a model others look to. You do not need to force yourself into an image. Simply walk in the light I have given you, and you will become a lamp to many. I know there will be moments when you wonder whether you are enough for this expansion. I know you carry old fears, memories that once made you doubt yourself, and questions that remain unanswered. But I declare this to you, you do not need to be enough before you step in, I will make you enough as you walk. I will give you strength when you need it. I will put words in your mouth when you speak. I will lift you when your knees weaken. I will redirect you when you stray. I will uphold you when you tire. Expansion does not demand perfection, it asks for faithfulness to each step I lead. Spiritual expansion is also expansion of the soul. You will find yourself forgiving more easily. You will discover that the things that once wounded you hold no weight anymore. You will look at life not through the lens of pain, but through the lens of purpose. You will understand that what happened to you was not failure, it was formation. And from the deepest place of that formation, I will cause you to become a source of life for many. Those who have carried the greatest wounds often become the greatest healers, for they know pain intimately, and they know the depth of my touch. This is what I want you to hold tightly. Your influence expands, not to make you great, but to reveal my greatness through you. You are the vessel, the conduit, the echo of my love on the earth. Therefore, you do not need to fear. You are not carrying everything. I am carrying you into the fulfillment of my promise. My child, as your influence expands and the doors I prepared begin to open on their own before you, this is also the season in which I go deep within you, to strengthen your foundation, to re-establish the roots you need to stand firm before the great things ahead. Expansion is the first step. Endurance is the next. I do not want you to rise in one season only to collapse in the next. You will find yourself forgiving more easily. You will discover that the things that once wounded you hold no weight anymore. You will look at life not through the lens of pain, but through the lens of purpose. You will understand that what happened to you was not failure, it was formation. And from the deepest place of that formation, I will cause you to become a source of life for many. You once believed you were only planting small, unseen seeds, but every step you took, every act you carried out, every word you spoke in faithfulness has been recorded. And today I speak to you. The time has come to reap what you thought was lost. Not one tear you sowed was wasted. Not one moment of quiet faithfulness was overlooked. Not one trial endured was without reward. I am the one who sees in secret, and I am the one who repays in the light. I know allowing me to rebuild your foundation is not always easy. It requires you to look into corners you once avoided. It asks you to confront memories you did not want to revisit. It demands that you admit there are parts of you still needing deep healing. But hear me, I do not expose you to shame you. I expose you to free you. I do not bring old wounds up to accuse you. I bring them up so they no longer hold you captive. No house can be built high without working on the ground beneath it. Your soul is the same. If I am stirring your foundation, it is because I am preparing to build something far greater than you imagined. My beloved, when I strengthen your foundation, I do so not with pressure but with love. I gently touch the places where you are tender, so you learn to lean on me instead of forcing yourself to be strong. I soften the places hardened by years of pain so my love can flow through and heal them. I shine light into hidden corners so you are no longer driven by shadows. I do not rush you. I do not push you. I work at a pace your heart can bear. I have never demanded that you grow quickly. I have guided you into growth. And in that guidance, you will learn that true strength is not found in never falling, but in letting me lift you each time you do. The first foundation I am strengthening in this season is your heart, because you cannot step into greater things if your heart still holds fear, wounds, or suspicion. You must learn to love rightly, trust rightly, release rightly, and receive rightly. A heart unhealed sees opportunity as pressure, blessing as danger, and people as threats. But a heart held, shaped, and renewed by me sees the world with peace, sees itself with gentleness, and sees others with compassion. You cannot bring light to others if your own inner places remain untouched by my hand. I strengthen the inside so you can walk confidently on the outside. The second foundation I rebuild is your mindset. You have lived too long with thoughts shaped by old seasons, words that once hurt you, judgments that made you shrink, failures that made you question your worth. But you are no longer in that season. What I am leading you into is incompatible with old thinking. You once believed you were only planting small, unseen seeds, but every step you took, every act you carried out, every word you spoke in faithfulness has been recorded. And today I speak to you. The time has come to reap what you thought was lost. Not one tear you sowed was wasted. Not one moment of quiet faithfulness was overlooked. Not one trial endured was without reward. I am the one who sees in secret, and I am the one who repays in the light. There are beliefs you once held that no longer serve this season. Habits that once kept you alive, but now keep you small. Thought patterns that once protected you, but now limit you. I am peeling away these layers not to leave you empty, but to make you lighter. You cannot travel far while carrying what no longer belongs. This season, therefore, is one in which I will show you what to keep, what to release, what to mend, and what to end. Your foundation must be steady, stable, and strong, so that when I place more upon it, you do not break. The fourth foundation I strengthen in you is your faith. Not a vague emotional faith, but a faith that has been refined through fire. I want you to trust me not only when you see blessings, but also when you see nothing at all. I want you to stand in peace, even when your circumstances have not yet shifted. I want you to hold a faith that does not tremble when the unexpected arrives. For the season I am bringing you into is not made only of light. It carries tests as well, but these tests do not come to break you. They come to prove that you are now strong enough not to fall. Faith is the foundation of every spiritual expansion. If faith wavers, everything else wavers. That is why I am strengthening it before I take you further. Beloved, let me work deeply within you without resistance. Let me remove the old burdens you have grown accustomed to carrying. Let me mend the cracks you tried to hide. Let me reinforce the weaknesses you believed no one could see. I do not correct you to find fault, I correct you to build you. My precious one, after I have touched every root, every depth, every foundation within your soul and made them stronger than ever before, I now lead you into a season where you must learn to operate from that strength, not only when your spirit is quiet, but also when life around you begins to shift in unexpected ways. A foundation is only effective when you know how to stand on it, without leaning how to move across it, without stumbling how to act from it, without being swayed by external changes. In this season, I am not only strengthening you within, I am teaching you how to connect that inner strength to every step you take, every word you speak, every decision you make in a world that constantly changes. The endurance I give is not stillness. It is the ability to stand firm even when the wind changes direction. It does not make you rigid or hardened. It makes you flexible without losing your core. It does not numb you to change. It allows you to look at change with calm eyes. Strength in the world relies on controlled defense and rigidity, but strength in my kingdom is built upon the understanding that I hold authority over all things. Let me mend the cracks you tried to hide. Let me reinforce the weaknesses you believed no one could see. I do not correct you to find fault, I correct you to build you. My precious one, after I have touched every root, every depth, every foundation within your soul and made them stronger than ever before, I now lead you into a season where you must learn to operate from that strength, not only when your spirit is quiet, but also when life around you begins to shift in unexpected ways. The world may shift suddenly, people may change their tone, circumstances may tilt, but my truth does not change. When you stand in that truth, you no longer get carried away by random waves. You can watch the waves without being swallowed. You can hear the winds without being pushed back. You can see storms without forgetting that you remain held in my hands. The second thing I want you to remember is this: do not let external fluctuations define your internal worth. There will be days when you walk slowly and assume you are not progressing. Moments when someone's careless words make you question your value. Seasons when you feel overlooked or misunderstood and conclude you are moving backward. But hear me, your worth is not shaped by how others perceive you, but by who I call you to be. Do not let a random criticism tear down what I have built over years. Do not let shallow praise inflate your ego. Stand in the name I have given you, chosen beloved, sent with purpose. When you remember who you are, small things lose their power over you. The third thing I am teaching you is how to keep your heart from breaking under change. There will be relationships I allow to fade. Places you once attached yourself to will no longer be part of the new journey. People who once walked with you may have to stop. At times it will feel like you are losing something precious. But I want you to see this spiritually. The things leaving your life in this season are the things no longer resonating with the frequency I am leading you into. A strong heart is not one that feels nothing. It is one that knows how to release at the right time, hold what is right, and move forward without bitterness. I am teaching you to let departures and arrivals happen without unsettling your spirit. And when you know I am in control, you no longer feel the need to overreact to every shift. You simply adjust your pace to match my leading. The first thing I want to teach you in this season of steady walking is not to be hasty before what you see. Not every movement is a signal for action. Not every word deserves your attention. Not every pressure requires you to prove something. You must learn to distinguish between movements I ordain and noises meant only to distract you. When you walk by my wisdom, you know when to pause, when to advance, when to stay silent, when to speak, when to turn away, and when to fight. Endurance lies in hearing me more clearly than you hear your emotions, for emotions change, but my voice does not. The fifth thing I am teaching you is to maintain inner stability while the outside world may shake. You must learn to guard your peace the way someone guards a treasure. Do not let careless words steal your peace. Do not let workplace pressures take your spiritual stillness. Do not let fear of the future obscure the beauty of the present. Peace does not come from everything going your way. It comes from placing your heart in me. And when your heart rests in me, you no longer chase control, for you know the one who controls all things is not you but me. With peace in your heart, your decisions are sounder, your words clearer, your steps steadier. And the sixth thing I want you to learn is this: do not lose gentleness in your strength. Many become hardened when they become strong, but I do not want your strength to turn cold. I want you strong because you rely on me, gentle because you know how to love, steady because you stand in truth, tender because you are shaped by my love. The unshakable person is not the one who never bleeds. It is the one who returns to me every time a wound appears. Your gentleness is the mark that you belong to me. The seventh thing I am teaching you is to operate in perseverance without growing weary. I know there are dreams you have carried for a long time that have not come to pass, promises you have held on to that the passing years have made heavy, purposes I planted in your heart that circumstances have not yet opened the way for. But I want you to learn a perseverance that does not become bitter. Perseverance is not blind striving, it is trusting me in every step, even when you do not see results. I am teaching you how to wait without exhaustion, how to move forward without pressure, how to hold what I promised without fear. Perseverance is the strength of a steady soul, a soul that knows that though everything else changes, my word does not. I am teaching you not to lose your essence as your influence grows. As you step into wider spaces, people may look at you and form their own interpretations. But you must remember who you are in me. You do not need to become the version that society expects. You only need to be yourself, my own. When you keep your essence, you will not lose your purity. When you keep your essence, you will not be conformed. When you keep your essence, you will not be trapped under false expectations. Remember, this expansion does not change you. It simply reveals you more clearly. My beloved, after teaching you to stand firm on a renewed foundation and to operate with inner stability, I now lead you into another depth, a depth few dare, to enter the realm of expanded spiritual perception, where you no longer hear me merely with your ears, but with your spirit, where you no longer understand me only through words, but through the seamless communion between your spirit and my spirit. In this season, I am not taking you into noise. I am leading you into inner light, where you will learn to recognize me in the most delicate vibrations of life. What once frightened you will now become clear, for I am opening your spiritual eyes to perceive things beyond the limits of your former understanding. You will begin to sense movements in the unseen realm that you once could not discern. You will realize that not everything you face is random. Much of it is intentional, woven into the journey I crafted specifically for you. I know there were times you feared the depths, afraid that going too far would make you lose yourself. But I tell you, this depth does not erase your identity. Depth makes you more yourself than ever. As I lead you into the realm of spiritual knowing, you will see the world through a lens no longer restricted by fear or limitation. You will recognize my voice not only in sacred moments, but in the quiet rhythm of everyday life. You will know that I do not leave you in the midst of upheaval. I am present in every movement within it. Just as Samuel learned to distinguish my voice in the stillness of night, you too will learn to recognize the gentle call you once mistook for an echo inside your heart. And when you recognize it, a new confidence will rise, not a confidence rooted in ability, but a confidence grounded in the assurance that I am always there. My beloved, the next step in this growth is learning to see everything through my eyes. When I expand your vision, you will discover that what you once thought were failures were simply preludes to elevation. What you assumed were losses were actually transitions. What felt like endings were signs that a greater door was about to open. I am teaching you not to interpret your life through scattered fragments, but through the full landscape I have seen from the beginning. When you learn to see as I see, discouragement loses its grip because you understand that every step carries purpose. Hurtful words lose their sting because you know you are defined by me, not by people. I am teaching you to live with divine wisdom. I want you to understand that life is not merely a chain of events. It is a flowing tapestry woven by my hand. There are things I allow not to test you, but to broaden your understanding. You will recognize that I sometimes hold you back not to delay you, but to protect you. That I sometimes bring you into silence not because you are wrong, but because you need to hear me more clearly. That I sometimes lead you on a longer path, not because there is no straight way, but because you must be prepared for what you will stand upon next. When you understand this, your spirit becomes lighter, your steps freer, and your heart more steadfast. On this higher ground, I teach you to distinguish between what is true and what only appears true. Not every light comes from me. Not every advice carries life. Not every open door is meant for you. As you rise, more things will appear appealing, yet not everything carries my breath. I teach you discernment not so you become suspicious, but so you choose rightly. I give you sensitivity to recognize my peace in what I open, and to sense confusion in what I do not give. This discernment will become your spiritual compass, ensuring you never lose your way even when the path widens beyond what you ever imagined. When I take you higher, I also want your heart to be free from old patterns. The mindsets you used for survival at lower places will no longer serve you at higher ground. The fears that once kept you cautious will no longer be appropriate as you step into expanded vision. The limiting beliefs that once kept you safe cannot journey with you into spacious places. I want you to release what once helped you, but has now expired, like the farmer who knows when it is time to uproot the old crop so that a new season can grow. You are not losing anything, you are being prepared for the increase I have ordained. When your vision expands, I also expand your heart so it can contain greater things. I do not want you to live with an understanding meant only for yourself. I want you to become a bearer of light for others. As you begin to see with new eyes, you will know how to lift those who are wandering. As you understand your own journey, you will learn how to help others understand theirs. You are not called only to receive, you are called to pour out. You are not invited only into depth, you are invited to lead others toward the living waters. Just as I once declared, whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them. You will become the one who refreshes weary souls, who strengthens weakened spirits, who opens pathways for hearts lost in fog to find direction again. This growth requires that you learn to guard your heart when you find yourself rising above the places that once held you back. Do not look back with resentment nor with pride. I want you to look back with gratitude. Gratitude that each step strengthened you. Gratitude that each wound deepened you. Gratitude that each delay forged perseverance within you. When gratitude remains, humility remains. When humility remains, purity remains. When purity remains, your communion with me remains. I do not lift you higher so you can drift away from me. I lift you higher so you can see me more clearly. In that place, my voice becomes soft yet deep, quiet yet weighty. You will understand that I have never left you, not in the darkest valleys, nor on the brightest peaks. I am in every beat of your heart, in every step you take, in every decision you face. My beloved, after every season of shaping, healing, renewing, refining, and drawing you into greater spiritual depths, you have now entered a far more significant stage, a stage where I no longer simply invite you near, but I send you with a phile, sacred commission. Not to burden you, but to make you a vessel carrying my glory into places still covered in shadow. Not to make you strive in your own strength, but to enable you to operate through the flow of power from my living source. This is the moment when you must understand that everything I have done within you was not only to make you strong, it was to make you a living instrument through which heavenly light can touch hearts desperate for hope. My child, you are no longer in the season of preparation. You have stepped into the season of being sent. Listen closely to what I speak to you now, for this is the affirmation heaven recorded before you ever realized it. You are sent not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. You are entrusted not because you are the strongest, but because you know where to lean. You are chosen not because you surpass others, but because you carry a heart that responds to the call of heaven. The nights you journeyed through darkness, the tears you shed while still holding faith, the moments you walked forward, despite the ache, these have become the testimony that you are matured enough to carry the holy flame I placed within you. Nothing you lived through was wasted. Every crack that once made you fragile has become a doorway for my light to shine through. And now that light is no longer only for your healing, it is for you to illuminate the lives of others. In this stage, you will feel my guidance more strongly than ever before, not because I am closer, but because your sensitivity has been sharpened to perceive every movement that comes from me. You will find yourself entering environments you never planned, meeting people you never sought, standing before doors you never believed you were worthy to approach. Yet none of it will be random. I have arranged each connection, each encounter, each opportunity, long before you saw them. I lead you into these spaces because there are hearts I want you to touch, souls I want you to uplift, lives I want you to shine upon with what you have learned from me. You have been prepared to carry the breath of heaven into the midst of the world. When I send you, the first thing I give you is the power to step forward without trembling. This power does not manifest as thunder or lightning. It manifests as peace when you face something new. It manifests as quiet confidence when you walk into places where others hesitate. It manifests as stability of heart even when responsibilities stretch beyond your understanding. You will hear yourself say things you never thought of before. You will find wisdom rising beyond your experience. You will respond with gentleness instead of anxiety. This is the sign that I am working through you. The second thing I give you is discernment, so you will know when to move and when to stop. Not every open door is meant for you. Not every invitation comes from me. Not every glittering thing holds true glory. I do not want you to chase opportunities simply because they appear. I want you to walk according to heavenly direction. There will be places you enter where you immediately sense the warmth of my peace. That is the sign you are in the right place. There will be places you enter where your spirit feels heavy. That is the sign I want you to step away. You will learn to recognize not by logic but by spiritual sensitivity. This discernment will shield you from the pitfalls many fall into. The third gift I place within you is the power of words that heal. You do not need to force anything extraordinary. It is my breath within your words that will accomplish it. A gentle word of encouragement from you can lift someone's spirit out of the pit of despair. A quiet sentence of peace spoken at the right moment can tear down fear within a heart. A simple affirmation you give may awaken someone to the purpose I placed in them long ago. You will not need to shout. My word in you will find its way into the hearts of those who hear, allowing them to feel a divine touch they have never known before. The fourth thing I give you is the ability to carry the atmosphere of heaven wherever you go. You do not need to change an entire room. You only need to step into it, and my presence within you will begin to shift the air. The weary in spirit will feel lighter near you. The doubtful will sense hope as they listen. The broken will feel their hearts soften when they see the peace in your eyes. You become a humble oil lamp that never stops shining, not by your own fuel but by the flame I pour. You are not sent to be perfect. You are sent to carry life. The fifth commission I entrust to you is to sow invisible seeds into the places I assign. You will meet people with whom you only share a brief moment, yet the words you plant will live in them for years. You will speak peace to a stranger, and that single word will keep them from despair. You will place a hand on someone's shoulder with compassion, and they will remember it as a heavenly touch. You will point someone to a door they never believed themselves worthy to approach. You sow these seeds not to see immediate results, but to trust that I will make them grow in due time. When I send you, I do not lead you into an empty battlefield. I always go before you. No environment is too unfamiliar, no territory too new. I have already been there, preparing the ground for your footsteps. You never walk alone. Every step you take aligns with the path I carved in eternity. When you move forward, my angels guard you. When you speak, my spirit guides you. When you grow weary, my hand lifts you. I never send you without walking beside you. My beloved, when I send you into spiritual territories you have never entered, I not only give you power to walk, but I teach you to keep your heart pure amidst influences that could distort your direction. For the purpose I give you is not only in what you do, but in who you become along the way. The farther you go, the more complex the people you will encounter, the more refined the wisdom you will need. And what I seek is not perfection from you, but a heart unmoved by ambition, by praise, by fear, or by hidden motives. I train you so you will not lose the identity I shaped with love, even when you stand in environments charged with pressure. As you enter wider places, you will meet both welcome and suspicion, both encouragement and criticism, both genuine hearts and wounded souls carrying their fears. I want you to see not through the surface, but through the depth I have forged in you. Let not praise make you proud, nor criticism make you forget your worth. Remember that you are defined by my voice, not by the reactions of people. The farther you go, the more you must hold tightly to the inner stillness where I speak words I do not speak to anyone else. That stillness will be the compass that keeps you from wrong turns and from decisions driven by emotion or unseen pressure. Not every open door is my confirmation, and not every closed door is my rejection. As you step out to fulfill what I give, you will face opportunities that stir excitement, yet I will hold you back, and you will face things that feel uncomfortable, yet I will tell you to enter. This is not contradiction, it is guidance. I do not lead you on the easy path, I lead you on the right one, and you will discern right from wrong, real from imitation, light from shadow, only when your heart is not driven by the desire to be seen or the fear of being dismissed. I want your spirit light so I can move you freely. Those weighed down by the expectations of the world struggle to hear my voice, but those with clean hearts can sense even the smallest movement of my will. When I send you into the lives of those I want you to reach, you must learn how to love without allowing your heart to be pulled into fractures that do not belong to you. Some will come to you because they perceive the peace and light within you. They will confide in you things they have never told anyone. But you must know this: you are an instrument, not a savior, a stream, not the source. You are called to lift others, but not called to carry their burdens as your own. You may wipe someone's tears, but you must not let their sorrow extinguish your hope. You may walk alongside the broken, but you must not allow their wounds to diminish the light you carry. I want your heart soft enough to love, but strong enough not to dissolve. I teach you the art of being silent at the right time. Silence is not weakness. It is the wisdom of those who understand that not every conversation requires their voice. There will be moments when you feel the urge to defend yourself, yet I will tell you to remain silent so that I may defend you. There will be times when you wish to explain, but I will ask you to keep your peace so that I may bring clarity to what needs to be revealed. When you stay silent before people and listen to me, you will see that what others think of you is insignificant compared to what I decree over your life. When you allow me to protect you, you will understand that true spiritual security is not found in maintaining an image, but in allowing me to cover you. On this journey where I send you, there will be seasons when you feel lonely, even in the midst of a crowd, for not everyone can understand the weight of the assignment I place on your shoulders. But remember this: such loneliness is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It is a sign that you are moving into the place I desire. Those entrusted with much must walk roads unseen by many. Those called higher must journey through spiritual depths beyond ordinary understanding. Those who carry light must learn to stand upright, even when surrounded by darkness. Know that this loneliness is not abandonment but consecration, a separation, so you may hear me more clearly. My child, when I lead you into places of great influence, I want you to remember that the most powerful room is still the room where you speak with me in simplicity. There is no position higher than the posture you take when you kneel in my presence. There is no brilliance brighter than the light I place in your soul when you seek me with humility. The higher I place you, the closer you must stay to me. I do not want you to go so far that you no longer hear my voice. I want you to go far in places unreachable to others, yet hear me as clearly as your own breath. And for this to happen, your heart must be guarded from the invisible dust that dims the soul: pride, comparison, anger, heaviness, personal ambition, the very things that cloud spiritual sight and make my path harder to recognize. I also teach you how to face the reactions of others without allowing those reactions to define you. Some will misunderstand your good intentions. Some will envy the light you carry. Some will feel discomfort as you grow into the purpose I assign to you. But none of this speaks about who you are. It only reveals what they are struggling with. You must not shrink yourself to make others comfortable, nor must you exalt yourself when you feel you have gone farther. I want you to stand in a strong humility. humility born from knowing you belong to me, and strength born from knowing that I alone direct your steps. Remember this throughout your journey. I am the one who guards each of your steps. No voice can cancel my purpose. No hidden motive can erase what I have established. No force can extinguish the light I placed within you. You need only keep your heart pure, your spirit sensitive, your soul tender before me. When you do so, you will not only go far, you will go right. My beloved, when you have stood firm in the training, when you have learned to keep your heart clean, and when you have matured to the point where external disturbances no longer cloud your inner spirit, I then open before you a door long, prepared in the courts of heaven. This is not a door you push by your own strength, nor a door you must fight to enter. It is a door opened by my authority tied to the destiny I wrote for you before your first breath. You are entering a season where what was sown in tears will begin to bloom in peace. A season where the dark roads you once walked will become the foundation through which my glory is revealed. This is no longer a season of standing still. This is a season of fulfillment. Before you step through this door, I want you to understand that what awaits is not merely expansion but depth. You will find yourself standing in places you were once too fragile to hold. You will speak words your heart was once too tender to comprehend. You will approach things I destined for you long ago, but which you once lacked the strength to carry. This season is not only a season of harvest, it is a season of maturity, the unveiling of what I carefully built within you over years. The long silence was not delayed, but layering, shaping, and preparing. You were forged by trials, strengthened by my presence, wrapped in grace and steadied by endurance. Now you step into a time when every scattered piece begins to align. In this season of fulfillment, you must walk with the greatness I placed within you, but keep the humility you held when I found you in the valley. Greatness does not come from recognition. It comes from living fully aligned with the purpose I breathed into your soul. When you enter the place where you are sent, do not think you must prove anything. Simply show up as the person I made you to be. You do not need to compete. You only need to be faithful. You do not need applause. You only need the inner confirmation that you are walking in my will. And when you stand in that confirmation, fear fades and faith roots itself so deeply that nothing can shake it. I open divine connections for you. You will meet people your spirit recognizes instantly, even without prior acquaintance. They are not coming to replace what was old, but to support what is new. I send them to walk with you through paths you cannot traverse alone. They are not coming to control, but to complement. Not to compete, but to harmonize. Not to confuse, but to clarify. These connections are pieces I place at the perfect time so you will not feel lost in the wider places. I never lead you into a new land empty-handed. I lead you into it with those meant to lift you in the way I have ordained. I open opportunities you once could not reach, an invitation. You never expected a door. You never dared to knock on a decision that once felt beyond your grasp, a circumstance that seems unexpected, yet perfectly aligned with my word. You will see that my fulfillment does not come with spectacle, but with certainty. It arrives as softly as dawn, but shines as powerfully as rising sunlight. It comes as gently as breath, but moves with the force of a river. And when it arrives, you will know that I never forgot a single promise I made to you. My child. In this season, I also teach you to live by heaven's rhythm, not the rhythm of people. People may want you to be fast. I want you to be right. People may want you to prove yourself. I want you to trust me. People may want to see you rush ahead. I want to see you walk in peace. When you live in the rhythm I set, you will no longer waste strength on what drains you. You will focus on what I want you to build and ignore what only distracts. This rhythm will keep you from exhaustion, protect your focus, and prevent false expectations from shaping your journey. You will enter greater opportunities, but also spaces where the voices around you become louder. I do not want you wounded by the opinions of others, by rumors, or by careless words. That is why I surround you with invisible but powerful protection. Those with harmful intentions will not reach you. Negative words will not touch your spirit. Hidden schemes will be dismantled before they approach. You do not need to defend yourself, for I stand between you and every unseen arrow. I open for you a new level of understanding. You will see the purpose behind old tears. You will understand the meaning of dry seasons. You will recognize that no dark night was ever endured without intention. All of it becomes spiritual wisdom for the path ahead. You will no longer fear future trials, for you know I turn trials into doors. You will not tremble before the unexpected, for you know I walk ahead of you. You will not worry when things change, for you know I am the God who never changes. You are entering a season where my goodness will be revealed clearly. What was once only a promise will become reality. What was once only a vision will become a landscape you can see. What was once a whisper will become a song of joy. No longer the season of hidden sowing. This is the season of visible blossoming. No longer the season of bending under pressure. This is the season of standing tall with a healed heart. No longer the season of waiting for answers. This is the season of living in fulfillment. And I speak to you now, my beloved. Step through the door I open with a trusting heart, for from this moment on you will not only see me work for you, you will see me work through you. And that will become the testimony that brings glory to my name on the earth. Thank you for listening to today's message. Remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we can continue receiving the living words together, building unshakable faith and walking daily in the boundless love of God. Amen.